Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Constance Messmer Podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today, I want to talk to you about how to connect with your spirit guides. I want to tell you a bit about spirit guides and then lead you through an interactive meditation. So you might want to have a notebook or a journal and writing material so you can document your findings. And then in the end, we'll recap and I'll tell you some stories, maybe, hopefully. maybe. I don't know if I want to share many of them, but maybe I will because I love you. All right. Thanks for tuning in. Hello, and welcome to the Constance Messmer Podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. So when I sat with Spirit on this episode, you should have seen me. I was a mess. Like I was putting notes in my iPad. Shout out to Apple. I was putting notes like on paper. I was just like sitting with Spirit going, my head is swimming with all the things I want to tell them. So bear with me as I get through some pointers that I've picked up over this 3 decades-ish of leading people on guided meditation to meet their guides, right? And my own interaction with guides. There's a lot of different meditations out there to meet your guide. You got to find one that works for you, right? There's different forms that just dive right in and have you chatting with them because they're around all the time. And the quickening of the awakening of the planet would definitely allow for that. There's also guided visualizations that are, go into the room or walk through the field, meet your guide, whatever works for you. I just want you to know there's options out there. And who knows, maybe one day I will have some for sale in my shop. That would be great. You know how I feel about guided meditations. I'm so funny about that, right? So let me tell you a bit about guides. Listen, you usually have one that you've had your entire life. And I know that angels, you have a guardian angel that you've had your entire life, but this episode is not about angels. That's the next episode, right? So make sure you're following and subscribing and getting notifications so you know when that airs. But this one is about spirit guides. So spirit guides, I've found that generally I've had loved ones around me throughout my life, loved ones that have crossed, but spirit guides have come and gone. And the reason being is because they have qualities that can help us through various points in our life, right? And because we are changing, sometimes they change out. Now, you might find that you've had your own spirit guide consistently throughout your lifetime. I know that there's someone orchestrating and that has been orchestrating throughout my life. They're like the manager, right, of the team. So let me tell you about that. We also have a team of spirit guides we can turn to because you are established in inter-psychic rapport, being able to communicate soul to soul with anywhere and anyone, technically, right? You can actually go seeking for a specific guide for specific issues that you're working on or needed guidance on or support on, right? This is like go to human resources, say, hey, I need a guide for this task or whatever, right? this kind of thing. And you will get the assistance that you need, right? But some of you might be familiar that someone's really been guiding you from the spirit realm, specifically a spirit guide for your entire life or around this time in your life. And you really want to reach out and chat with them and get clear communication and understand, basically an established rapport with psychic rapport. So this episode is going to dive a bit deeper into that. So what is a spirit guide? So spirit guides are those in spirit, right? Or come through the spirit realm to connect with you, to guide, spirit guide, right? Guide you, nurture you, support you, help you in life. I have found that usually when we want to manifest something in our life, it's often spirit guides that are dropping the breadcrumbs for us to follow to get what it is we want to achieve, accomplish, have, need, whatever. They're very interactive. Sometimes they can offer wisdom, guidance, warning, stuff like that. They speak through your 11 soul senses. Did you hear that pop? The heat is on. Bam. It's like a drum roll from spirit. They speak through your 11 soul senses. They communicate. I should say communicate because speak is clairaudience, right? So they communicate through your 11 soul senses, whether you're in your day-to-day life or you're going into dedicated meditation or dedicated spirit connection time. That's how you're going to hear from them. The thoughts might come in as your own thoughts, but you should always say hands on heart, who said that. And if it's your guide, then great. Say thank you, come louder, clearer, whatever, right? So all of these things are beneficial. So I took some notes because they were gifting me with so much information that I don't want to forget. I do believe we have, like I said, like kind of this general manager of our team. And then we can go to our team could be specialists. It depends on the task that we're going through in life, right? Or what's happening. So we could have beings of light or spirit guides that are healers, that are teachers, that help us with specific projects or tasks or family matters or our work life or our spiritual journey, or spiritual direction or protection, right? And by spiritual direction, I mean, just even helping with the nuances of our connected rapport to spirit realm that way, or our spiritual journey as a soul on the planet. When I speak about spiritual direction, I don't necessarily mean religion. My work is non-denominational. It can be applied to any religion. You do you. It's all good. What I've noticed too is spirit guides can also be kind of gatekeepers to the other realms. Like you could ask your guide to introduce you to the angelic realm or the higher realms and help you recognize the frequency differences that occur in those experiences. You could also connect with a spirit guide to help you converse with nature spirits, right? Or loved ones that have crossed. You can get with a guide that can help you with your mediumship skills. All of these things. It's pretty fantastic. It's limitless, Spirit saying. There's no limits to our duties and our efforts and our skill sets. They're also saying much like yours. There's no limit. So it's limitless. Remember this, right? So who and how shows up when you call on a spirit guide? What do they look like, right? Listen, your spirit guide, open heart, open mind, right? Your spirit guide, main spirit guide, could be from the animal kingdom, could be from the elemental kingdom, right? These are things that I've experienced when guiding other people through. I'm like, I told you I go in with them to see what they're seeing and experiencing while they're experiencing. I do shared sensory experience when I train people. And I'm like, wow, okay. And so when they say, oh, my spirit guide is a tree, I'm like, yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So it's great validation. So your spirit guide could be an ancestor. They could take on human form, like they could look like a human. They could look like someone that you've known from another lifetime, another incarnation. They could be a family member from the past. And there's been times too, like one of my guide teams now is my dad. He transitioned in 2021. And he is now part of my spirit guide team, business and life and everything. So it could be that the guide that you get in touch with today could be a loved one that has crossed some time ago. It could be a multidimensional being, right? Should I tell you that story now? Yeah. I remember I was working on this woman. It was a healing session. It was pretty powerful. And I kept asking because I was getting information in countless ways for her soul to kind of understand the trajectory of her life, where she had been and where she was headed. And I was like trying to ascertain one of the sources of the information. And oh my gosh, you guys, I was like, whoa, there was like this band of light. There's this band of light. It was a blue band of light, like it was a band of light. Yeah. And she was like, and I knew immediately, I was like, this is not somebody from planet Earth. And she was like, that's my spirit guide. I was like, yes, it is. And do you know what I did? Because the energy was so lovely, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to meld with them and see what it's like to be in their frequency. It was phenomenal. Phenomenal. This was a higher level guide that came in with galactic information for her. This totally resonated with her because that's that then became her journey and her life. And so it was pretty powerful, right? And the being spoke clairaudiently to me, but it was also claircognizance. And it was this a vibration of the message. I don't even know how to say it more than that, other than it wasn't quite clairaudience, it wasn't quite claircognizance. It was this kind of a transference of information via vibration. How's that? So be okay with what happens. It was powerful. It was amazing. And so she, the journey through the healing was her journey through the healing was more enhanced so that she would really set aside guided time to walk, talk, sit with this being. Your spirit guide could be an ascended master, right? An ascended master is someone that's traversed the planet before giving wisdom, whether that's Buddha or Jesus or Kuan Yin, Muhammad, and the like, right? All of these. What your spirit guide does is your spirit guide supports your life here from their realm. They have this vantage of timelessness. And so when you're given guidance to take certain steps, they're going to see it clearer than you might recognize it, rationally or consciously. And so I've played with this, right? You know me, I'm always like, I'm going to do a case study. I'm going to look into this of my own accord. I'm going to research this. But my research happens all like with spirit realm. Like, let me try this. Let me try that. How's this go? What's this about? And so sometimes when they give me steps, I've learned the hard way, like, take the steps in the manner that they're happening. Now, even though, can I tell you one thing that irritates me? They know this. Because it is a team that I work with. I am writing some material and I write some and I think, great, it's finished. And then like a month later, they're like, no, it's not quite. We're going to now extrapolate it and put more. Now the chapters are really going to be fleshed out and we're going to put more than this. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I thought it was done. Wanted to check it off my to-do list. I'm like, okay, let me sit with it a while because it's upsetting to me that I have more tasks to do. And they're like, okay, right. But I always have an ear out, like, and I say, why are we going to do more? What is the purpose? And they're like, because you're going to really regret it if you don't. You're going to flush it out. And so then I say to them, wouldn't it have been better if you'd have given me the task in steps, like from the beginning, that we were going to have this project be so large? And they're like, no. I say, why? And they say, because you never would have agreed. You never would have agreed. And you know what? They're right. If I have to, like, when my husband says, let's have dinner for 20 guests, I'm like, oh, no way. I don't like to cook. So, it's just too daunting. So the same is with, I'm like, can we do carry out, take out, whatever? I'll just make some things, but not all the things. Or better yet, let's get a caterer. Don't I wish? So listen, what I'm saying is that when you start working with your guides, you're going to understand that they know more about you than you actually might know about yourself. And they're going to work with you to work towards your highest good in the best possible way. And it's not that they're holding back or moving the information on around. They just want to make sure you're on board, right? Especially if it has to do with your work or your soul's trajectory or your mission, your life story, right? And you know me, my belief is that who you are is what you came to do. But I also know that part of that is, what are you doing with your free time? We have free will, but what are you doing with it? Are you finding joy in your work? Are you finding passion in your volunteer stuff, or your community efforts, or your worldwide efforts? So these are all things where you can sit with your guide and say, listen, I can't figure out what I'm supposed to do here. Can you help me? Of course they can. Of course they can. And, you can banter back and forth. Your spirit guide is never going to tell you what to do, but they will give you some options of what you could do or could try. And it might be, that nudge that you keep getting to try open mic, that's from them to let you know, here's a talent that is unearthed so far, this kind of stuff. So when you start building rapport with your spirit guide, you're going to realize the benefit of the relationship and the connection of the relationship. And I say rapport because it is a trusted, harmonious relationship of a friend, right? A dear friend that you can count on. Now, in regards to that, I think I kind of gave you all the ways that they'll appear. If not, listen, just be open to how it is. Be open to how it is. I'll give you ways to check for truth. I already have in other videos, but I'll give you ways to check for truth. I'll remind you. But the point is the way that you build rapport, as with anyone, right, or any being, is that you want to make sure that how does the connection feel to you? Clear sensation. How does it feel physically? Goosebumps, yummy, warmth, and clear sentiment. Is it leave you feel joy, peace, love, elated? All of these things. Does it really touch your heart? These are what you're going to want to look for. Only a real guide is going to leave you and make you feel that way. Anyone that doesn't, then you don't want to spend time with them. So here's the check, right? You're going to use those methods of clear sensation and clear sentiment to recognize and feel the sensation of a good connection, of truth, for not only the being that you want to spend time with, but also the content, the information that comes through. Does it resonate with you? Is it right for you? Is it uplifting? Is it joyous? Does it move your heart? Bring you to tears, all of these things. Because if it doesn't, then you don't want to spend time with this being. I remember countless times when in my own work, or even leading others in, they came across someone that was in a guide that was in lower astral, that was not a guide at all. It was a trickster energy. And if you haven't seen that, check out my trickster video. So if you get a being that you're just not comfortable with, you can say, I have no time for you, go to the light. That's one thing. The second thing is you can throw light at them, right? Throw light at them to have them go. If they are who they say they are, if they are who they say they are, they'll stick around and the light will make them get bigger, right? You can use the light as saying, are you of God? Are you of truth? Are you of light? These kind of things to check that they're a good guy. So one is to tell them to go away because you're onto them. Two is to throw light at them to make sure that they're legit and good. Or three, if they won't leave, then you could ask for higher up in angels. Whether you work with angels or not, they're always there to guide you. They're always around. And you could say, take this being to the light. I have no time for them. I don't want to interact with them, right? This is you turning your attention away and not turning it back, not giving them space in your life and in your mind to come back. This is like relationships, right? You ever have someone where you're like, oh my gosh, I'm not really jiving with that person. I need to, not approach them. I've had that happen at dinner parties where I'm like, whoa, can't go that way. Got to go over here. Don't know what's over there, but not for me. So, it's the same in spirit realm, So you can just realize, how does the connection feel? How do they feel as a being when you meet them? And then you're going to do those three things. You can either say, go to the light, I have no time for you. You're going to throw light at them. Maybe they'll go in the light. That's usually the case if they're full of yuck. And then, or thirdly, plus the light will give them a boost to maybe raise their consciousness higher so they don't dwell in their, yuckiness. We all have yuckiness, but you know what I'm talking about. But then thirdly, call on an angel. These are things. We all have light and dark. I do too. It's what we do with it that matters. Okay, so yeah. And then if you come across someone or a being that you don't want to connect with, and you've taken care of them and they've left, then you're going to go higher with the intention of going higher to be connected with the higher being, the highest being that's aligned with your truth. I'll walk you through it when we go on it. Okay, there's a couple things I want you to remember about guides. Even though they might give you advice, you always have free will. You always have free will. You get to choose. And the other thing, a real guide will never ask you to do anything that harms yourself or others. That's really important. You only want to work with the good guys. Otherwise, you are not in the right place at all. A real guide will offer love, guidance, support, peace. They'll offer direction. They'll even offer next steps to take, these kind of things. You can ask for these kind of things and they will abide. It will come through. It happens all the time. Your 11 Soul Senses, a journal for self-discovery, is something I created just for you. It is complete with definitions, writing prompts, and blank journaling pages to help you reconnect with your true essence and your soul sense abilities. To get your copy, visit my shop or go to constancemessmer.com. And thanks for tuning in. Okay, like I said, the connection comes through your 11 soul senses, but you can always ask to help make the connection clearer, to ask them to speak up, to ask them to come closer so you really feel the vibration of clairsentiment, to come closer so that you can see them. But I really want you to milk the experience. So when you're having a visionary experience, I want you to look around. What are they wearing? What's their hair like? Do they have hair? What color is it? What color are their eyes? Can you see their eyes? What about their hands? What about their feet? What's going on? Like, do they come with a background superimposed around them or no? Or not superimposed, but behind them or no? I don't usually have guides come with backgrounds. They're usually just them hanging. Could you see them with eyes open or do you have to have your eyes closed? Are they vivid or are they subtle? Are they within the mind's eye or are they projected in the third dimension? All these kind of things, like really milk the experience so that you can have a real solid relationship. I think that will be fun. Okay, so here's another thing. I think I already told you once. One time I connected with the guide that had been with me for quite some time. And when I was conscious and aware enough to sit with her in spirit, she didn't say a word. And I was like, this doesn't work for me. This doesn't work for me. She was more claircognizance. And I did not want to work on my claircognizance. I wanted a guide that I could hear, that would be animated, that would move around, that I could feel nearby. And she was too subtle. So I said, could I have another guide? This, and bam, got another guide. It worked out great. So you're not going to offend them. Now, listen, of course I went through the gamut of, is it me or is it you? Like, is it that I can't hear you? Am I not trying hard enough? Am I missing something? And I posed these questions to her, right? But she just stood there, beautiful, light, radiant, white gown, rah, 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 glowing in the glow. But I was like, no, this is not what I'm interested in right now, because I wanted to really work on all my 11 soul senses. So God bless her, off she went to the next thing, right? Maybe she's working with you. Who knows? I think she actually is pulled back and is real kind of like, a light shedder, working to offer light to my work and this work that I do, which is cool. But listen, you can ask for a new guide. Now, to those of you that wonder, could we share a guide with someone else? Absolutely. 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 So that's just my answer to that. So, how many guides do you have? This is a great question. I wonder who just asked that. But Spirit's like, let's answer this one. What I want you to do right now is close your eyes, put your hands on your heart, and ask, how many guides do I have? How many spirit guides are around me? Trust the first number that comes up. And then now, eyes open again, ask, please give me a sign for that specific number so that I know I'm not making it up, so that I know this was a true and real connection. And thank you in advance. Now you're asking that of the guides, right? Of the number of guides that you got. And then on your own, maybe even using this meditation yet to come, you can go in and ask this team more about them and their efforts with you. I think that would be great. Okay, so are you ready for the meditation? I am. I think we're going to go in. Okay, so you're going to find a cozy space, cozy place, blankets, pillows. I always get cold when I do this kind of work, so I always have a blanket that I throw around me. You could lie down or you could sit in a comfy chair, whatever works for you, but a place no distractions. You could light a candle. It's always beautiful to light a candle, right? So you could pause me now if you want to go gather your supplies. Oh, you can also get your journal or notebook. I sell a lot in the shop. I should tell you this. Let me tell you this. I have always had spirit conversations, and I put them in my giant binder that I write in every day, like as a daily journal with my coffee in the morning, right? And I If I have one regret about working with my guides all these years, is I wish I would have kept dedicated notebooks for each guide. That would have helped a lot, and dated the pages, or even one continual guide with the dated pages. But the fact that they're in my diary where I, noodle thoughts in my own intra psychic rapport, my own like wise self connection, or my, troubleshooting my day-to-day life, or plotting out plans, or looking at my astrology, all those notes are in these binders after binders of different years. And I wish I would have had ones that were dedicated to conversations with my spirit guides. So that's my gift to you. I think that you might benefit from that, or not. Free will, do what you want. All I'm saying is I wish I would have. I wish I would have. So maybe you might want to grab a blank journal. Again, I sell a lot in the shop, but you can also just grab your own notebook or whatnot. Okay. Now, we'll pause while you get those. Now for the meditation. I invite you to close your eyes and take a few deep, relaxing breaths, and check in to see if you're comfortable or if you need to adjust pillows or blankets. Just check in with your physical body. Make sure it's comfortable so that you don't have to check in with your physical body again. This is going to be a light meditation. You're not going to completely leave your body and astral project anywhere else. You're going to be in your chair or on your bed where you are now. And I'm just going to lead you into the conversation of connection. So with your eyes closed and your nice relaxing breaths to relax your body, if you need to throughout this connection meditation time, if you need to put your hands on your heart to help make the connection stronger, please do. And I want you to follow along with my words. Just set the intention as I do. Collecting yourself from everywhere, but just collecting it to the here and now and bringing it into your body, clearing your energy field with just intention and grounding your energy. So with an in-breath, you're collecting your energy, and with an out-breath, you're grounding your energy into the earth beneath you. And in this moment of being collected and grounded, I want you to imagine a beautiful beam of light surrounding you. And in your mind, as you imagine it, it is so. And the light is to help protect you from unwanted outside influences. It is also meant to increase your energy field to a higher place, a higher frequency, a lighter place. And in this moment, with your eyes closed, ask to be connected with the highest source of guidance. I ask to be connected with a spirit guide that can come forward and connect with me now. I ask to be connected with a very strong spirit guide, strong in presence and connection, so that I cannot deny the connection. I ask the connection to be strong and clear, and as you ask it, it is so. I want you to feel the energy field around you. Using your clairsensation, I want you to recognize any warmth or any vibrational shift in the space around you as your guide comes nearer. I want you to allow their shape to take form. Do not deny how they show up for you. Allow any space for clairaudience where you might hear them walking in or the buzz of their vibration. Allow them to be exactly as they are. And as you have asked, they will show up. Whether you see them, whether you feel them or not, you might just have it as a knowing or a trusting that they are present with you now in this moment. And so I want you to ask, are you here? You will get a yes or a no. Or you might even get, of course. If you happen to get a no or no answer, I want you to ask them to come stronger. I want you to imagine calling out to the universe and say, I ask to be connected to my wise spirit guide, my spirit guide that can come forward and connect with me here and now. Ask them to make their presence so profoundly strong that you cannot deny it. And as they do, I want you to really soak in, how do they look? What do you see? What is the impression that you are getting? Are they male? Are they female? Do they have no sexual orientation at all? Are they nature? Are they energy? Are they animal? Are they human? Are they off planet? Or something else completely? And as you pull them closer, and as they come closer, ask, what do I call you? Trust the first thing that you hear or get. Now I want you to ask them, have you been with me my whole life? Trust the first answer that you get. How long have you been with me? Ask, what is your area of expertise? Allow the first thing to come bubbling up from your knowing. And if you need to, ask again, what is your area of expertise? By this time, you should resonate with them or not. If you find that this guide is not as helpful and easily to connect with, you can do a few things. You can ask them to make the connection stronger, or you can ask for a different guide. And if you find that this is actually a guide that doesn't resonate with you at all, you can say, go to the light. This isn't working for me. I really need someone stronger and clearer. They might take a back seat in your field of awareness and let someone else come forward, another being come forward. Allow the experience to unfold before you. Or they might stick around. You can ask this being, are you of God? Are you of truth? You will know the answer in your heart. Are you of source energy? Are you of pure intention? Yes or no? And if you want to imagine throwing a ball of light at them, to see if they stick around, to see if they get larger, to see if they make their presence more profound, you can. If they don't stick around, if they go, then it's not a connection that's meant to be. They will not be offended by this move. Light is what they do for us all the time to amp up our awareness and our abilities and our connection. They hold us in the space of light and love so that we might connect clearer on our own path, truer to ourselves. They will not be offended when you throw light at them. They'll understand it is part of the process, part of the unfolding, part of the knowing of truth connection. When you are ready, continue on this conversation and connection with them by asking, how do you typically communicate with me in my day-to-day life? Trust the first things that you get. Now ask, what must I do to increase the communication? Ask, where and when in my life have you most recently tried to influence my behavior, my insights, my life path? Where and when most recently have you tried to get involved, whether I understood it or not? And allow a memory or the experience or the awareness to come up to you. Now ask, what areas of my life can you give me guidance on? Ask, how often should we sit like this in undivided attention? How often should we sit like this? Now ask, what is stopping me? Ask, what more should I know right now? What do I need to know right now? What would be for my highest good to know right now? And allow their wisdom to come to you, whether it's in an image or words, a knowing, a feeling, a sense, a memory. What is for my highest good to know right now? Ask, do you love me? Ask, is there anything I can do for you? What is it? Ask them if they could also introduce you to other guides, to a team, to specialists that might be beneficial and for your highest good to connect with. Can you introduce me? How will you introduce me? Ask, can I get a sign in the physical world that this connection was real? What will that sign be? Now you can ask for a sign, or they might impress upon you the sign that they're going to send. Thank them in advance, and don't go looking for the sign. Allow it to show up. They love surprises. Ask them if they have any final words to share. What would they like you to know? As this time together comes to a close within this meditative space, you can send love and thanks from your heart to theirs, like a beam of light from your heart out and around them, like an energetic hug. You can thank them for coming, for providing wisdom and guidance always and now. You can ask them, please help make this connection clear. Help me know what I need to do to maintain a clear and consistent connection. Help me to remember that you are there with me. And if you want, you could ask them to continually communicate with you throughout the rest of the day and your week, apart from a dedicated sitting practice like this. When you are ready, I want you to send one last beam of love light to them as thanks, and feel one coming back to you. Their light, as yours, comes from the heavens, the highest source of wisdom, truth, light, and love. So you might imagine the light coming down to them and through them, or you might just imagine it coming completely from them to you as thanks for connecting, as their way of saying thank you for listening, for your presence, for your service on the planet, however that may be and appear, and for continually living a tuned-in life, mindful, present, a gift on the earth, a gift here and now. Receive the love as it comes back from them. Breathe it in and ground it through your whole body. And when you are ready, thank them for coming and bring your awareness back to the space and open your eyes. And with your eyes open, take some nice deep inhalations and exhalations to ground your energy. Breathing in the air around you, feeling your toes, wiggling your toes and fingers, feeling your body as it touches the surface, being present here and now. And now in this moment, with your eyes open and you're fully back in your body, in the room where this all began, you can still imagine light pouring in from the heavens, up from source energy, down and through and around you, and running it down into the earth to ground your energy. If you want to take a moment to record any of your findings in your journal, you can. You can pause this recording to do so. So, how often should or could you do this meditation? You could do it every day. The more you do it, it will help strengthen your connection, and you might have a different experience each time. Be okay with what happens. Sometimes when you do it more and more, you're going to have a deeper experience or a more profound experience. Sometimes it won't be. And be okay with that too. And if it's not as profound, ask why is it not as profound? Now you can ask your wise self, or you can ask source energy, or even your swarm and team of guides or angels. And it may be that you don't need it at all, that you can walk and talk to them in your day-to-day life. Taking a walk in the woods, connecting in each moment, hands on heart, or connected to your own knowing. I love a good dedicated meditation time, because what it does is it quiets the external noise. With my eyes closed, I can focus inward and focus on them and how they look. And I tell you, I've done it all the different ways. I walk and talk with spirit all the time in my house, in my office, down the street, all the time. But there's something really beautiful when I give undivided attention in a dedicated meditation time. And that's what I want to encourage you to do. Always the profound is 21 days or 40 days to do it over and over and over, repeating it 21 or 40 days in a row. But listen, I'm not going to tell you what to do. You have free will. And the minute anyone tells me what to do, I'm like, oh, I don't know about that. Do what feels right for you. But if you do want to get better, that's what I recommend, is consistency, right? Consistency will amplify quality. It's important. And so any area that you couldn't get an exact response or an exact answer, you could always go in and ask it differently. This is helpful. Or you can ask, why am I getting nothing? Why am I getting nothing? Is it for my highest good to know right now? Now, again, you can ask those questions right there about the experience, either to the guide that you were connecting with, source energy, or your wise self, or the cosmic call, right? Source energy. Why didn't I get an experience? We generally know, if we don't get an experience, why that was. It's not because you're not good at it. It may be because it would scare you, or it's not happening as strong as you'd like it. And with practice and consistency, it will get stronger. You'll learn to lean into it. You'll learn where your strengths are in regards to the 11 soul senses, and you'll lean into what stronger suits you, right? I think that when we start on this journey and connect with spirit, we've got to decide, is this important to me? We have to decide also that we're worthy enough to have an easier life, to have such incredible help right there in the instant that we need it. It's really a powerful shift, right? Especially if, you've ever felt alone or unworthy or feeling as if you're incapable. You are capable. You are worthy. You are not alone. You're not. You're not. And so it's important that you kind of let your own barriers fall away. Borrow my faith in you. I believe in you. That's why I'm doing this, right? That's why we're here together, is I know you can do this. And yeah, it can take practice. Listen, I think I told you, I didn't start teaching this as a craft, even though I'd talked to spirit my whole life, right? In different realms, and angels, God, my guide, myself, my future self, loved ones that have crossed, the dog. Like, even though I'd worked through the realms of spirit my whole life, I didn't start teaching others until I consistently sat with spirit daily and really fine-tuned my personal practice, so that then I could navigate those spaces of either mental embellishments or projections. These are all episodes that I've gifted to you in the past. If you look through the playlist, this will help refine your skill set in these moments of meditation where you're trying to get direct, clear, personal assistance, right? And so it was, I don't know how long, months and months and months, that I sat in a daily practice to really fine tune it. And then I also, whenever I was meant to teach a class or give a talk, right? Or, mostly those, I would sit with spirit for loads of time with guides that would help me in whatever topic and arena I was working on. What that allowed for me was I had these well, not really mediumship moments. They were more interpsychic rapport where I would just chat with them so that when I gifted the content out, whether in a talk or a teaching, I could then take it and have that as knowledge base from and for myself. But then I could also act as a mediumship or as a medium, because I would ask those same spirit guides of mine to show up to help kind of navigate the class or the talk that I was going to give. I still do that, right? I still do that now. Like, okay, where do you want me to go with this? How do you want me to say this? Who needs to hear what next, right? And why? Or what am I holding out on for future episodes? All of these things. So there's times that I do the kind of the background work with sitting with spirit, like I just led you through a meditation. On my own, I sit with spirit. And then there's times where I bring spirit actively engaging in the work with me in the moment that I'm delivering it. So it's cool. So I can only reflect to you what you're capable of doing also, is you can learn in those spaces to fortify you. New perspectives, new ways of thinking, innovative inspiration, all of these things can come through in that dedicated practice time. It's really beneficial. And I think for me, it's been incredibly helpful because with ascended masters that can also come through as guides, right? An ascended masters, like I may have mentioned, I don't even remember what I've said, Buddha, Jesus, Kuan Yin, Muhammad, beings that have walked the planet before and then lived, evolved lives that can come and give guidance. They too can offer this unique perspective and this maybe philosophical way of thinking to help you understand their concepts greater, right? And they come to kind of fortify you in your efforts that might be similar or the same in regards to spreading stillness, peace, love, joy, right? And incorporating that as your own trajectory in life. Really, spirit guides are here to do just that, soul level guidance that is helpful, beneficial. And so again, I just want to remind you that they're only going to leave you uplifted, and their messages will be uplifting. I'm asking if there's anything else. So what happens if you get that you're supposed to, do it every day for 10 minutes or set aside 10 minutes and you don't? Someone just said your loss. It is your loss. That's how I feel about me, right? When I say, I've had spirits say, listen, we need to sit with this amount of time. And I'm like, okay. And then I don't. And then I have to go. It is my loss because sometimes they show up at a specific time in life that has this whole timeline lined out that is not just based on my life, but the players around me that are going to influence to have something happen for me or with me or to me in my business and their business or their life and my life. And so if I don't take the time, if I run fearful and I don't give myself the chance or don't show up for those meditative moments, even 10 minutes a day, what is that, like 1% of your day? It is, then it is my loss, right? Because now I've missed this opportunity. Now it might come back around again, but not in the same way. And so sometimes when I get guidance to sit with and I don't want to or feel compelled not to or get lazy or whatever, I have to ask myself in a mindfulness space of like, what's happening, Constance? Why aren't you doing this? And sometimes even for me, it is this feeling of like, what if I'm incapable, or what if I won't measure up, or what if it'll be so profound it'll kind of freak me out and change me. And there's this part of my soul that's going, so be it, bring it on, right? What are you afraid of? What are you afraid of? Give it a whirl. You just give it a whirl, like a good storybook. It'll be an adventure, and maybe the adventure of your life, and maybe the adventure is your life. And don't sell yourself short. So if you got this guidance that said, meet me here in this space every day, for 10 minutes and that resonated with you or rang true for you, you might want to give it a go. Bring your journal. See, document the conversation. Take it beyond the questions that I had you pose or guided you to ask. Take it beyond that and see what comes of it. I think I told you, I know I did, about this guide that came around, a guide from that was intergalactic. I know I told you the story. Oh, I can't believe I'm going to say this. But remember, I was like, what story are you going to have me say? And they're like, we're not going to tell you. We'll remind you when it's time. Where are my cue cards? So remember, I had that being that showed up. I was like, okay, who am I supposed to connect with here? Because I felt someone around, and it was this intergalactic being that said, hi, we've come to remind you you're going to write our book. And I was like, well, what book is that? And I started writing it, and I know that it had to do with communication with non-vocals, but also to kind of tapping into people on the spectrum and more about that. But I just couldn't at that time. That was like 35 years ago. 35 years ago, I couldn't grok the concept. I couldn't wrap my head around it. I would have had to have channeled the information where I just set myself aside and delivered it. I couldn't even have done it as a medium. Medium would be if I heard the information and wrote it down, heard it and wrote it down. But because I couldn't even understand some of the concepts enough, I would have had to have channeled it, let them just full body take over, write through me, type through me, whatever. But it became so uncomfortable for me that I asked them, listen, I know that I might have promised you this, but it's hard to hold your frequency. And this is really complex content. So can you ask someone else to do it? And I think that book may have already been written or someone's writing that book because it was a decision I made in that moment of like, okay, so even though you might get guidance from spirit and we have free will, it's not going to be detrimental that you don't do something. I don't think, unless you go, oh, am I not doing this because I'm afraid, or am I not doing it because it's really not what I want to do right now, or not part of my trajectory, or I've changed my mind, all this stuff. So these are things you'll have to sort out. Like some of you might get a guide that is like, here, listen, I'm here to help you be more of the light worker that you're called to be. So, this is about you following the breadcrumbs. I remember I did tell you that when I decided to do psychic work, I said, listen, people aren't going to believe this. I can't just sit down and start reading them, right? It just didn't feel comfortable to me. I know people have done that, but it didn't feel comfortable for me at the time. So I said, I need it within the context of some kind of body work. And then I was drawn to Reiki. And then next thing you know, I was drawn to Bowen, and I was like, great. So I would do those healing sessions, which were always beautiful, the working with the client and the client and beautiful things unfolding. But then the healings really lasted and landed if I told them the intuitive perspective, Reiki with a reading or whatever. And then, of course, after a while, I just dropped the energy and the body work in the form that I had been doing it and just did straight the psychic stuff and the channeling because I'm a teacher of spirit. So I think that we are capable of far more than we realize. And part of the journey of our life, or the adventure of our life, is to take the steps that call us and make our hearts sing, and to then be selective, right? We only have limited time. And so be selective, and you have free will, and do what works for you, but don't run afraid. Do something that scares you, if it feels right, not a scary thing, but if it feels like a personal challenge and it might bring you to another place, check in with your wise self and go, is this right for me? Am I just afraid? What can I do to help not be afraid? All of these things. Same with the guides. I've worked with my guide Samuel when he wanted me to start teaching psychic development, and I was like, and stand on stage and talk about it. And I was like, no, I can't do it. I'm afraid. And he's like, I got you. We got this. It's who you're supposed to, who you are, what you're supposed to do. And so be who you are, do what you're supposed to do, even if it scares you. And if it, again, a real guide, a true guide, a spirit guide that's for your highest good will never have you do anything that brings harm to yourself or others. But sometimes it might take courage, and that's okay. That's okay. I believe in you. You got this. So hopefully this whole time together about guides has been helpful. Spirit guides, again, can change out through your life as you need different ones for different tasks. And you have like a whole whole smorgasbord of guides that you can ask. Like, listen, can I get someone that can help me kind of unravel what my kid's going through, or someone to help me with the neighbor, or can I get a guide that I can sit with for a little bit to help me, navigate this realm or this task, or, you know, project manager or whatever. It's all there. It's all there. So it's cool. It's cool. All right. So I invite you to show up, turn to this meditation again and again, put it on save, hit the part where the meditation is, grab your journal or your blank notebook, set aside dedicated time to connect, and really, really get into it with your 11 soul senses and enjoy it. And take advantage of that dedicated time so that you can facilitate when it comes out into your real life and you're making a connection on the spot, and you know the resonance of truth in this guide because you've already been spending real quality time, like a trusted friend, hanging out for a lot so that you really get to know them and you can hear their voice and know them and trust them, and they know you, right? So I love you. Thank you so much for tuning in. I so appreciate you. I hope you have fabulous journeys with the guides that are around you, that want to love you, support you, bring you peace, connection, understanding, awareness on these other levels, no matter what they look like. All right. Thanks for tuning in.